Okay. Page 16, You Don't Know Me. Starting with the right hand. You will notice a few grace notes in this. Well, the first one appears in the second line in the right hand there on page 16. You have that D to E. Okay, now this is done quickly like that, and the D is on the beat and it's played with the A. So those two notes are played together. Okay? So each time you get a grace note here, play it on the beat and play it with the other note if there is another note playing. A very quick note. And that's all over the place. So you get that once you get it down. There's very little trickiness going on in the right hand. It's really the rhythm. Once you get the rhythm down, I'll talk about the rhythm in a minute. Go to page 18 at the top, the second measure for the right hand. You're starting out with a 1-3, and then the third B is with the fifth finger. And hold that F sharp down for 2 counts. Then on the second line, first measure, you're playing the chord with a 1-2. Immediately substitute the third finger, and you can, since the third finger's if it's longer than your second, you just go over it like that. Don't try and stick it in. You can bring the second finger down and let the third finger in there like that, because we want to play the melody legato with the fingers. We're going to rely on the pedal for that. Even though the pedal is playing, you still do it with the fingers. You want to feel the melody. Feel it, and I do that with playing it legato. In the third line down, second measure, you have a G and a B. That G is a half note. Hold it down for all those B's. So make sure you're holding those half notes down when they're there for the full count. Don't let them up. Even though the pedal keeps it going, doesn't matter. Hold it down with your fingers. At the bottom of page 19, just to be clear on this, take a look at the first measure in the right hand. You see those notes? That low note, that's an F. The next one is an E, so it's here. Okay, so that second eighth note in the right hand, that bottom note is an E, which is the same as the triplet E. At the last measure in the right hand, you're down here, 1-4. You're going to play the E. The G is tied. You don't play it again. You hold it down, so it sort of sounds like the grace note, except this time it's slow. It's not slowly, right? It's a nice effect. In the left hand, just follow the fingering we've got. It's kind of important. I will suggest a few minor things. Why not? On page 16, second line, second measure, you've got this. And they're saying, well, they don't say anything, so you think, okay, it must be a 2. But look at the first note in the next measure. They want a 5 on that F. Yuck. So I would recommend the last note on the second line in the left hand. Play it with a 4. Okay, because that puts you in position for the fifth finger on the F. So make that a 4. Drop down one line on the F sharp, and they've got a 4 on that one. That's good. Right. Then at the bottom of page 16, first measure, first G's with the second or third finger, next one's second finger, and then the A. Good fingering, I like that. Just follow the fingering, and if you just do what they're suggesting you do, except that one change I did. Now on page 18, second line, second measure. I would suggest a slightly different fingering here. You're starting out with the 1, okay. Fourth finger, 1, 2, and I suggest a fourth finger, not third. Because that's normal fingering for that chord. So use it when you can. Use the fourth finger on the E. Then for the triplets, okay, even though you have an eighth note, you can lift your hand up and get your fourth finger up there. But you got two G's together, so why not use two different fingers? So I could just as easily play the first G triplet note with the thumb and then fourth finger. So to play the last measure of the second line on page 18, it's this. Let's talk a little bit about rhythms. One thing pianists typically do better than any other instrumental players is they can go from a triplet feel to a duple or a two feel all the time, constantly. And if you're doing the scales and arpeggios at the advanced level, you practice this all the time. At the beginning of this piece and several places throughout, you have triplets, but you also have even eighth notes. So you're going back and forth between a triplet and an even eighth note feel in here, and that's good practice. Just make sure your triplets are even, because some people will play a triplet. Take the first measure. If you have these triplets, they'll play them, or something. They have to be even. And then when you get to the eighth notes, those have to be even, as opposed to the triplets, which are a little faster. So work all that out. Get your rhythm here really, really solid in each hand, because you got triplets in both hands. You got even eighth notes in both hands, so you got to work it all out. Once you get it worked out, then go back and swing the eighth notes. So rather than playing even eighth notes, we're going to swing the eighth notes. But do the swing last, right? Make sure you can play them even first. One step at a time. Don't jump the gun here, or you're cutting your own throat. If you just be real careful about it. You sort of build it up. Pedal-wise, this piece demonstrates a really neat thing, a typical use of the pedal in some places. And that is when in piano, when you have the same note played multiple times, I cannot connect them, all right? Because when I let up on the note, the sound stops. But the pedal can be used to connect them. And that's what they're doing here on several places. The first measure is doing that. You have the pedal down to connect those first two. They don't want any silence in there, so the pedal is doing it, and that's the only reason the pedal is down. So you have that. There's no break in the sound. You want it all nice and smooth and even. There's a lot of legato pedaling in here. You're fine. You just go along with it. It's okay. I like to hear break in the phrasing. They don't put phrasing in here, but you can figure it out if you just follow the words. Right? If you got a new sentence, it's probably a new phrase. Otherwise, just do the pedaling the way they're saying. The fermata at the bottom of page 19, the dotted half note, I'm going to hold that for 6 counts instead of 3, because it's a fermata, so I hold it longer. This is not a fast piece. It's faster than what we're going to take it, but it's not a fast piece. You'll find recordings of this. This is just a nice, leisurely paced thing. Yeah, we're going to play pages 16 and 17, and then I'm going to stop, turn the page. I'm going to count us in again, and then we're going to play pages 18 and 19. So, hands where they go. The left hand's here, here. Those are not octaves now. That's okay. And I'll give us 4 counts and we'll start it. The speed we're going is almost the speed that needs to go, not quite. Almost. 1, 2, ready, go. stop, turn the page. 1, 2, ready, go. Two, three, four, five, six, off.